So thank you for joining me here today, Mansur. And I have just a few questions for you. First of all, your research and experience show that people are the most critical component of any cybersecurity strategy. So what specifically has your research shown that leads you to this conclusion?
Fantastic question. First of all, thank you very much, Bill, for having me here and allowing me the opportunity to speak to the people at this conference. If you think about it, cybersecurity at its core is innovation. And who innovates? People. Technology doesn't innovate. Technology is only there for a very short time. And it's people that even select the technology that's going to be used, the way it's going to be configured, and when it's going to be upgraded, when it's going to be updated, and it is people that also train other people to use that technology properly. Because at the end of the day, it's the behavior of people that determine the ultimate cybersecurity of any organization. So technology is not going to solve your problem. So that's why I focus on the people. There are plenty of people that are focusing on technology. Very few are focusing on people and leadership. So this is why this is my platform, leadership. The other critical thing that has happened in the United States is that innovation has gone down dramatically. And that's because too many companies are focused on treating people as expenses. Even in the accounting system, and even in MBA schools, what do they teach you? People are expenses. Totally wrong way to approach the future of a company as well as cybersecurity, because people are assets. They grow more valuable over time. So anything that grows more valuable over time can never be an expense. And we should never, in the accounting, be able to just lay off a whole bunch of people and reduce our expenses. Because what we have done during that time is we have also eliminated and expunged perhaps a huge amount of intellectual capital from the company. Because people are repositories of intellectual capital and innovation.
Sure.
Right? So this is why even when I teach cybersecurity leadership to my students, I don't tell them to stop at being a CISO or a CIO. I tell them, look, today US companies, and actually worldwide companies, are ready for a new breed of leadership. And it is going to be digital strategy that's going to drive all organizations. It doesn't matter whether you're doing national security, education, healthcare. It doesn't matter what you do, even your journalism.
Mm-hmm.
Digital strategy technology drives the mission. So therefore, what we need are digital strategists at the C-suite, the CEO level of companies driving the mission. It's not about finance and accounting. I can hire an accountant. And I'm pretty good at math too. All right? So why are we having accountants and finance strategists running companies? Why don't we have digital strategists running companies and see what it does? There are amazing examples of companies that have done that.
With chief digital officers like CDO title?
Not there, as CEO.
As CEO.
As CEO. Because see, being a chief digital officer is okay, provided your CEO is empowering you and embracing you as a good partner. And there are companies that have done that also. In healthcare, for example, Kaiser Permanente has been doing that for a long time. The CIO and CEO partnership at Kaiser Permanente has been absolutely amazing for their digital strategy. Their costs are down, their innovation is huge. They have over 300 people doing innovation in that company. So it's not about just lowering costs or using technology to lower costs. No, they are actually using technology to drive the mission of the organization, which is improving the quality of healthcare. And that's what needs to happen. Now, companies that have promoted a CIO to the president level, one of the first examples, for example, in education that I know about is Indiana University, where President Michael McRobbie, he was once upon a time a CIO. Then he became a provost, and then he became the president of the university.
Sure.
Well, guess what? If you study Indiana University, their digital strategy is absolutely amazing. Every university that you go to, ask them, they look to Indiana University as the model. Their costs of using technology is also down, and they are even providing services to the local community. So for example, you talk about Network Operations Center or Security Operations Center. Indiana University provides that to their local community. Well, think about one of the biggest problems that we have today in America is that small businesses are literally getting hammered because they cannot afford highly qualified professionals to provide adequate security for them. So one of the things that the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has been doing to evangelize that is this whole concept of information sharing and analysis organizations. They're trying to build cooperatives of companies, so whether it's healthcare companies, a bunch of doctors, a bunch of grocery stores, it doesn't matter. They're trying to get them to collectively come together so that they can get the right technology service, the digital strategies, because they cannot afford a typical, say, a CIO or a CISO that a big company,
Sure.
well-heeled company can. So that is another way that this is happening. So universities can play a huge role in doing that. Indiana University is doing that for their community. They're managing the networks of many of the local businesses. Now, isn't that great? How did they do that? Because they embraced digital strategy as the wave of the future.
Sure.
And they actually hired a president who understands digital strategy. And I think that is the future for companies to really make a leap forward. If they really want to make a leap forward, you have to drive it at the CEO level. The era of finance executives running companies is over.
What would you say, speaking of leadership, what are a couple of the steps that leadership in healthcare, whether it's a CIO, a CISO, and others, must take in order to bolster cybersecurity?
Excellent. One of the things is that leadership is not a one-brain sport, as is cybersecurity is not a one-brain sport either. So leaders, in order to do cybersecurity properly, have to build a culture of innovation throughout the whole company, throughout the whole organization. Whether you're a CEO, CISO, CIO, it doesn't matter, because your single brain should not drive the company, because everybody is handling data. Everybody is handling technology. And how they use that technology is going to make a difference.
Sure.
So empower them, educate them, and make it their job, but also incentivize them, because humans do not respond to negative policies as well as they respond to positive policies. So for example, if you make it a rewarding experience, maybe a gift certificate, maybe put somebody's name up on the intranet, company intranet, if they did a good job or had an idea. I mean, how are you going to make innovation a culture of your organization? You have to have a way to intake brilliant ideas. And brilliant ideas are happening all over the place. If you look at, for example, the company called Toyota, right? What do? They innovated every layer of the organization, because most innovation, 70% of innovation happens at the micro level, which is small fine-tuning, just the little way that you're doing your own job, Bill, or the way I'm doing my own job. That I can do better than anybody else. You can do better than anybody else. I cannot tell you how to do your job. Only you know how to do it better. You also know what are the flaws with that job and how technology can either improve that job, or even the technology that you're using, is it doing the right thing for you? Is it making your life easier or harder? So you see, that's the mentality. And so what I'm talking about is leaders creating thousands of leaders throughout the company. Because leadership is not a position. If I'm put on a pedestal and called CEO, that doesn't make me a leader. It just gives me authority. But leadership is a frame of mind. It is the choice and empowerment that we have that, okay, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to do the best possible in my job. I'm going to continuously improve. I'm going to look out ways to innovate, look out ways how to use technology to do my job better. If technology is not doing my job better, I'm going to protest, and I'm going to get somebody to fix it and do it right. And the C-level executives need to make that happen. See, one of the mistakes that many companies make is they view governance as control. So what have they done with governance? Essentially what they've done is similar to giving you a car and turning off your ability to fill the car with gas, or to let you use the cruise control. That's what they've done. Because they give you technology, and then they disable a whole bunch of functions, and you can't even do anything. Sometimes you cannot even put in a printer driver to print from your technology. You have to ask the IT department. Why? Why can't you train anything that the IT department can do, you can do? Trust me, today, technology is democratized. It is in the hands of everybody. So we need to empower and educate you on the use of technology, not cybersecurity, because you don't care really about cybersecurity. What you care about is how to protect the data that you're using, that technology, and whatever that makes you productive and innovative. Cybersecurity is just a word. But at the end of the day, it's innovation. Your embrace of and use of that technology properly. That's what cybersecurity is. And that's what we need to do.
Okay. What is the thrust of your most recent book, Cybersecurity Leadership? If we could go a little more into that.
Sure.
What's at the heart of the message that you deliver in your most recent book?
The message is exactly what I just mentioned. It is that cybersecurity is all about people. I also explain leadership. So if you really think about it, the book is called Cybersecurity Leadership, and people may be thrown off by the word cybersecurity, but my book is really about leadership. Those leadership principles are applicable anywhere. The key theme of that book is what is called ethical leadership. If you think about it, ethical leadership is at the foundation of the capitalist system that we're supposed to be living in. Except, perhaps right now, the way it is, we're not really living in a true capitalist society today. Because if you think about it, in a true capitalist society, what is the main promise that you get? If you innovate, Bill, you get to enjoy the fruits of that innovation. That is the basic promise of capitalism. And so, why did America become so innovative? Because that was the dream. We all, as immigrants, came to America for what? To follow that dream, that if we are innovative and we do great things, we get to enjoy those benefits of that. Well, today in most companies, that's not what's happening. There's some people that get to enjoy all the benefits of innovation, whereas some of the innovators are not really getting anything. Yeah. Some of the workers are not really getting anything. And this has happened primarily because we have taught leadership and ethics the wrong way. We have taught the people are expenses. There's a class of leaders that you get in, and you have to have positions, and therefore you are leaders. Okay? But you see, if I do that, my company's innovation is going to go downhill. I'm going to have insider threats because I'm not going to have loyalty of the organization. Okay? And so that is what happens. In my book, I try to bring back that philosophy. My book has a base in philosophy, which is that ethical leadership is the only way to make companies succeed. And the whole concept of ethical leadership is that all the employees that are giving you the benefits of innovation, loyalty, productivity, cybersecurity, you have to give them a fair share of the profits that you're making. Only the shareholders or only the owners cannot be making all the profits. If that's what you do, you're going to have what we have today, which is, if you look at all the statistics, essentially, innovation in America is half what it used to be in 1972. As a nation, we cannot survive like that. Because other nations are innovating like crazy, because innovation, again, is not just the purview of Americans. Every human being has the capability of innovation. We have all brain. Everybody's got brains. So we have to bring back that innovation culture. In many companies today, only 1% of the company's resources are spent on innovation. That's crazy. I just heard somebody say today that as a CISO, he actually got his organization to spend 15% on innovation and new technology and new thinking and all that. Of course, innovation is an investment. How many times did the Wright brothers fail before they succeeded? How many times does any company fail before they succeeded in innovation? And we have to be prepared for that. So this whole CFO mentality of only reducing costs and viewing people as expenses, that has to go. We have to embrace people, innovation. We have to allow them reasonable opportunities to fail. Out of 10 innovations, maybe 5 will fail. That should be known to you. You should know that that's the cost of innovation. You should build that into your business. There's no other way to succeed. Whether you talk about building weapons or building healthcare or building whatever, if you don't innovate, we're not going to succeed.
Okay. One more question for you today. Beyond people, what do you think is the Achilles heel when it comes to cybersecurity at most hospitals today? I mean, we all know that people are kind of the soft target, the easy way in. But going beyond people, what do you think might be a hospital's Achilles heel?
So in 2013, so this actually brings me to the results of my first book, which was the impact of security culture in healthcare, that I did as a part of the doctoral study, where I did a national study. And one of the amazing findings that I found over there was that 50% of American healthcare organizations, including hospitals, were running their IT and cybersecurity through their chief financial officer, through their chief administrative officer, through their chief operating officer, anybody but a true digital strategist. Yes, they had CIOs or somebody by name, but they were not empowered to make the right decision. So the organization chart is probably the #1 threat in American healthcare today. You didn't expect to hear that, but that's true. 50%, think about that. Now, I did the study in healthcare, but I bet you that's true of other types of organizations also. So if you are going to run your IT and cybersecurity strategy using your chief financial officer, that's like a bus driver driving an airplane without a flying license. Would you fly in that airplane?
No.
So this is what's going on.
Well, I'd like to thank Mansur Hasib. Again, he is the author of the books Cybersecurity Leadership and the Impact of Security Culture on Security Compliance. And I hope you have a great conference here today in Los Angeles.
Thank you very much, Bill, for having me, and thank you very much.
Thank you.